Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to set up your computer to get ready to program PixelGrid. PixelGrid is an Arduino device, so the first thing you need to do is install the Arduino Ide. I'll go ahead and add a link to the web page in the description of the video so you can click through it to download it. We want to download this version of the Ide or something. It could be newer, but not the version 2.0. If you scroll down a little farther, there's a version 2 that I haven't made sure works yet, so we might have that as a subject of a future video. For now, this Arduino Ide version 1.8 works great, and we're going to stick with it. So you can download it for whatever operating system you're using, Windows, Linux, or Mac. And why don't you go ahead and pause the video and download and install it now. Okay, I've got the IDE installed here. Let me go ahead and hide the web page. And this is what it looks like when you first install. It's got a blank, you probably won't have that message there. It's got a blank Arduino project, and there's a couple more steps you need to do to get it ready for PixelGrid. The first one is to install the libraries. So click on Tools, Manage Libraries. And in this box, when it's done loading, type PixelGrid. PixelGrid should show up in the box here, and just go ahead and install it. It's going to ask you about this other library, and that's because PixelGrid needs that library to be installed as well. So go ahead and click Install All. That goes pretty quickly, and now it's installed. Another thing you need to do is install the board. They kind of like tell the IDE which board PixelGrid is using. And we're using a non-standard one. These are all the standard Arduino boards, but there's lots of other boards you can use. And we use one called, well, it's based on the SAMD CPU. So if you type SAMD in the box here, this first one that shows up, Arduino SAMD boards, go ahead and install that. While that's installing, I could describe a little bit about the hardware. This will take a minute. So this is a SAMD chip. It's a 32-bit processor. It runs at 48 megahertz. It has 256 kilobytes of ROM and 36 kilobytes of RAM. So those might not mean anything to you, but it's relatively powerful for a microcontroller and has plenty of space to write, pretty sizable programs for a beginner and store lots of variables. On your PixelGrid, you see that there's this switch here. That's the power switch. Right now it's plugged in through USB, so the power is actually turned off because it's taking power from the USB. Here's the volume knob. Here's a speaker for audio output. And this is the reset button. Sometimes you might experience a case where the computer stops talking to... I had a pop-up show up that is asking if I want to allow this program to make changes to my computer. That happens when you're installing things on Windows, and I'm just clicking yes. And we just finished installing. So this reset button, like I was mentioning, it sometimes the IDE will lose connection to your PixelGrid, like if you've been programming it over and over, and you can just click this reset button and it'll restart the hardware, and usually that clears the problem with the IDE. We'll see if that happens in one of our future videos. Okay, so now that the board support is installed, you just close this boards manager. Now you need to tell the IDE that we're using this board. The way you do that is you go to the board menu, and now you've got this new option for SAMD boards, and you just click the second one, Arduino 0 native USB port. Select that, and then in your ports menu, so right now I've only got one port that shows up, and so I know that's the one I'm using. Sometimes this will say COM4 and then it'll say Arduino 0 or something like that. Anyway, you want to select the COM port for the board. At this point you are ready to go. Everything is installed, all the libraries are ready, and you can pretty much proceed to the next video and start writing code.